Broadcast historian Tessa Dunlop is our guest this morning.
Hello.
We're on watch for the space launch. So in the meantime, let's whip through the papers. What have you got for us?
We'll keep our feet on the ground in the meantime. Lots on shopping today on the high street or otherwise. Let's lead with the Times front page. Amazon misleads buyers. This is the Advertising Standards Agency saying that they can't claim their Prime service delivers next day because it doesn't always. And actually, it's a minor story in terms of the bigger question regarding Amazon. Hammond, our Chancellor, is saying he wants to tax Amazon, and apparently this is most effectively done in an international context because, of course, it's a massive global company. And what's rather delightful is this is page 6 of The Sun. They actually quote, "These are global brands, so it must be a pan-European decision. So we better quickly get that under the wire before we time out with Article 50, see if we can agree with Macron and Merkel about taxing Amazon." It's no joke, actually. Of course, the other sort of twin pillar of this story is the demise and now the purchase of House of Fraser by Ashley, this tycoon, Sports Direct tycoon. Of course, just one of many failing flagship stores on our high street. M&S, I think, in your headlines today.
Started to close stores.
My local Mother Care's just closed down. I mean, left, right and centre, it's like 9 pins, isn't it? They're all falling. But just if you crunch the statistics, and these were on the front page of The Guardian, actually, £787 million were the total sales in House of Fraser. 787 million. They taxed, business tax, 30 million. Amazon total sales, 9 billion. Their tax, 33 million. Almost the exact same as House of Fraser. The playing field simply isn't level. And okay, so Hammond and his henchmen in Europe may find a way of taxing Amazon. Possibly that, of course, cost will be passed, almost definitely will be passed on to the consumer. Meanwhile, we have to ask, is a department store just for Christmas? Because if it is, it isn't going to survive. And just like we say, oh, look at our rubbish politicians, and we need to remember how we vote. Likewise, if we don't want an empty high street, we need to think about where we spend our pounds. If you want a high street, you have to spend money in
You could choose not to shop through Amazon, for example, but we don't.
Where do you get your knickers, Charlie? Anyway.
Any other stories in the...
actually, I wanted to leave the papers very briefly, even though I've come... Anyway, actually, I'm not going to say where I get mine. I wanted to refer to a story in your headlines which hasn't yet made the papers because it broke overnight. There's massive riots and protests in Bucharest which have got a bit nasty, tear gas and water cannon.
I think 100 people needing some form of medical attention.
And what's interesting about this protest and links it to Britain, in Britain at the moment, the second largest national minority aren't the Irish. After the Poles, they're the Romanians. They have lost more of their population than any other country in the world bar Syria. Okay, between 2010 and 2015. It's desperate brain drain. It's not just Britain. There's over 1 million in Italy, in Spain, in France. These are educated young workers. And this protest is led by that diaspora. They've gone back in the August holidays and they are saying to the PSD, they're corrupt, head in the sand government, sort this out. It's not livable with. And it's actually, and of course, Romania has a history of quite violent protests. You remember 30 years ago, almost, it was the only revolution where hundreds of people died. So this is a brave protest, but it's also one, it's a clarion call, if you like, a wake-up call to a government that is failing its population. Currently, the man who's leading the PSD...
Well, as you're just talking about seeing some of those images, the pictures came in yesterday evening, and I mean, you can see the scale of what's going on.
Yeah, and it's scary stuff. It's really brave. Resist is the hashtag. And I say go for it, guys, but take care. You know, just to give you a clearer picture, there's a sort of puppet Prime Minister, Dancila, and the man who actually leads the party in power, Dragnea, is prevented from being Prime Minister because of an investigation that's currently being carried out. So the whole thing is just a kind of quagmire of lack of honesty, no transparency, and never power in the name of the people, never governance for the majority, but this kind of private self-interest that Romania has never managed to come to terms with, and it needs to do that for the sake of its young and its old.
Our time is up, I think. Thank you very much, Tessa.
Covered a range of topics there.
What were you going to wave then?
I just wanted to say that, you know, before the universities used to get to pick which students they had, and now apparently it's the students for universities. It's rather a lovely kind of twist.
People power.
And it's apparently because the year of the millennium, we had fewer babies.
Okay. We have to leave it there because we've got a space launch to
Thank you very much.
Off you go.
So thank you very much. It's a good reason.